Hello, my loves, and welcome back to the Being That Woman podcast. I am so excited about today's episode. Today, I have someone that I absolutely adore in the space, and I cannot wait for you to listen to her, to learn from her, and to really absorb the magic that is this woman. This woman is a master coach and a specialist in dating and relationships. Welcome to Being That Woman, Megan Thoma.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm very much looking forward to this conversation.
Yes. Well, I would love to start with just a little intro to any woman that might be listening right now who has never heard of you, doesn't know what you do. Just give us a little bit about what is in Megan Thoma's world and what you are really passionate about and why it matters.
Yeah, so I started this whole healing coaching journey, if you will, basically from my own life. I called off an engagement several years ago, and it was a very toxic relationship. And that was sort of my initiation into this work. I will say I grew up in a family that was pretty pro talk about your feelings, go to therapy if you need it. So luckily I did grow up in that sort of household, but I didn't deep dive into my own healing work until I called off that engagement and left a very toxic relationship. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. So that's where a lot of my work stemmed from. And initially, I was helping women get out of or heal from toxic relationships. And now my work has evolved really to the woman that has already maybe experienced some painful or toxic relationships or really, really hard breakups. And they've done some healing work around that. And now they're just starting to get their feet wet and wanting to get out into the dating world again, but they're really hesitant or they're really trepidatious because they don't want to repeat the past quote unquote mistakes, but they also are really ready for a healthy, committed, loving partnership. So that's where I like to meet women today.
I love that. And, it always often tends to be the case that women find themselves in this journey of rediscovery from something really, really painful, like a toxic relationship, a breakup, etc. And I think for the toxic part, I'd love for you to just really give your definition of what toxic is, because it can be quite unique to each and every single woman, and that word does get thrown around quite a lot. So what would your definition of toxic for a woman be?
Yeah. I wish I could remember Mark Manson's specific definition. He gave a really good one. It was like two mutually destructive ways of relating to each other. It was something like that. And that's what I think when I think about a toxic relationship. And this might be a little controversial, but I don't believe that there's just always this like one toxic person. I think it takes two people to create a toxic dynamic. So my toxic dynamic looked like I would withhold things for fear of his reaction. He would lie about things and manipulate things to get his way, but I was also participating in toxic behaviors of not fully revealing my truth, not saying the thing that I was scared to say, not being vulnerable. I kind of played the cool girl. And I'm not saying that the cool girl is toxic. These things are very nuanced, but it's participating in mutually destructive behavior is what I think really defines a toxic relationship.
Yeah, and I love what you shared about the cool girl isn't toxic. It's more of a behavior or something that she is portraying out into the world. That's the element that's toxic, right?
Yes,
And
exactly.
I think so many women can relate with the cool girl. I know, me too. It's like the Me Too movement of the cool girl.
Yes.
And I'm curious, from the work that you've done, where do you often tend to find that the cool girl is born from?
The cool girl, I would say, is typically born from a family system or caregivers that really they weren't able to meet the child's needs. So the child on some level learns my needs aren't important. Maybe dad or mom was working a lot. Maybe it's a, single parent household. Maybe you had a sibling who was sick or needed a lot of attention. And somehow the messaging, the programming is my needs don't matter or my needs aren't as important. So therefore, I won't have any needs. I'll just take care of everything on my own. I don't need anything. Nope, I'm cool. I don't need it. I'm good. I've got it. Don't worry about it. I'm cool. Yeah, whatever you want to do is fine. I'm cool with it. You don't need anything from anybody, or even trust can be broken early on. That makes you not trust other people and you only rely on yourself. So you're just kind of cool with what anybody does. So you don't have to rely on them and get your heart broken or get your trust broken again.
So from your own personal experience, like how did you find, well, where did you discover more so, oh, I am a cool girl, and realizing it? What kind of transpired for you?
So what's so crazy is I would have never categorized myself that way if you would have asked me. Even in that toxic relationship, I was like, no, I cry in front of him and I let him see how I really feel, and I've revealed things about myself that I've been scared to tell anybody, and shared things that are shameful. Like, I thought I was being so real and raw and vulnerable, but I wasn't, because I was still hanging on with a death grip for this relationship to work,
Yeah.
that I let things just pile up underneath the rug, so much so that I would like trip and fall over it every single day, and I would build so much resentment towards him because I wasn't telling him the truth. There's so many things that happened in that relationship even early on before we got engaged. When we got engaged, it just amplified all the things that I'd been trying to ignore and be cool about. But there were so many things early on that if I had just been honest with him and myself and not been cool about it, quote unquote, I probably would have never even gotten engaged, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah. I heard someone else's definition once, and I really liked this too. I can't remember who said it, so I feel badly. I can't give the credit. But someone else said toxic is anything that's overly saturated. Any
Wow.
sort of overly saturated thing becomes toxic, too much of anything. So I liked that definition too. I just wanted to add that in there.
Yeah, I love that. I love
Yeah.
it. So with the toxicity and the cool girl, what do you think for anyone listening right now? Maybe there is a woman out there and she maybe doesn't quite have the awareness, because like you said, it can be quite difficult to spot these patterns. We think we're being a certain way, but actually there's a pattern that's really deeply ingrained playing
Yeah.
out. But yet the results of her actual relationship or her dating life, they aren't giving her exactly what she wants and what she needs, and it just doesn't quite feel good. And
Yes.
maybe she's looking at him and she's thinking, he's not the one. We kind of ruminate on the whys. Why is this relationship not feeling good? Where do you think the first place for her to start looking to cultivate the awareness would be?
So I would say one of the main key indicators to notice, like, oh shoot, maybe I am falling into some of those like cool girl behaviors, is I'm feeling a lot of resentment. I'm feeling a lot of frustration, irritation. All of that's just anger
Yeah.
leaking. So the resentment builds, like, you know, maybe I'm trying to think of like an actual real life example, but resentment builds from us not speaking up, from us not telling the truth, from us not sharing what's on our heart or asking for what we need. And I know that's really scary for us that weren't taught to do those things growing up. We weren't taught that it was safe or even that our needs mattered, maybe. So to now do it in our adult lives with a potential romantic connection is like really, really edgy and really, really scary. And there are, small ways to do that and to practice, which I love helping my clients with things like that. But a key indicator, your alarm bell that goes off is, wow, I find myself so irritated. Like if he doesn't text me back within 3 hours, I immediately think this guy is another one of those dudes. He doesn't care. You know what? I don't need to see him anymore. He is not into me. He is not commitment ready. Da, 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 da. And it's like, you're counting the hours? Really? Really? Okay. Have you communicated what communication looks like for you? What you desire, what you expect, what you need in a partnership in order to feel cherished, or in order to feel connected, or in order to feel courted early on in dating. Have you communicated that? Probably not. But the resentment, the frustration, the irritation, that irritability is normally a pretty key indicator. There might be some cool girl behaviors going on.
I love that, because more often than not, when we're feeling those feelings, we want to deflect them out and we want to look at someone else's behavior, which may well be a contributing factor, but also we get to take ownership as well of, where am I not stewarding this relationship on my behalf, with what I want and what I need. And I know from the women that I work with that one of the biggest challenges when I ask them that question, well, what do you want? What do you need? It can be really, really difficult to get to what's underneath.
Yeah.
And more often than not, that question alone can be really, really scary. Like, I don't actually know what I want or what I need, is what I hear a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Is that something that you've related with, or is it something that you've heard from women as well?
Yes, I remember my father saying this to me once, and it still kind of cuts like a knife to this day. I don't know why this cuts so deep when he said this to me years ago. He looked at me one day and he said, "Maggie, your catchphrase is 'I don't know.'" I was like, "Dad, why would you say that?" He's like, "Because I'll ask you things and you're just like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I need from a man. I don't know." And because we don't know, if we don't know, then we sure as heck can't give it to ourselves. And that's why we become so obsessed with him giving it to us, with him figuring it out, with him reflecting back to us or giving us what we think we want or need, whatever that ideal, made up vision that we have in our brains. But really, if we don't know truly to our core what we're desiring, we can't expect to get it from anybody else, because we don't even know how to give it to ourselves.
Yeah, and it becomes a real mucky gray area, because even if we were to receive it, we won't be able to feel it, because we've got no resonance inside for what it is that we actually desire. And I think this is so common because we've been well conditioned for a really long time to look outside of ourselves. What do they need? What do they want? Who should I follow? Who has the answers? Who should I listen to? And I think that becomes a really, really big challenge in dating, because we almost look to the guy to complete us so that we can feel whole. So we can almost close that loop of the chase, or what it is that we're looking for, or the emotional freedom, or the inner security. What do you think is the underlying factor really that's behind the chase and the need for him to complete us?
I think deep down, every woman wants to feel chosen, like really feel chosen. But that what maybe started out as a very like pure, wholesome desire has been warped and twisted and gotten a little wonky with our social and historical programming. I always kind of date back to the Disney days of your life doesn't even start until the prince finds you and picks you. All these Disney princesses were miserable until the prince showed up, put a ring on their finger, moved them into the castle, and it's like, now my life can begin. So we've gotten it really twisted and confused that we need a man to choose us, to pick us, to put a ring on our finger in order to feel worthy, in order to feel like our life has begun even. So much of my own journey, my own healing work, and therefore what I also support so many women in, is pushing the play button on your life now, not waiting for the prince, the man, to show up and choose you so that you can have and experience all that life has to offer you, all the things you're wanting to experience and desire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is a prison. You know, women really have been put into a prison, and it said the key is a man coming to unlock you and bring you out.
Yes.
And I know from the women that I've worked with, and it's really interesting for me because there's two types of women that tend to come to me. The woman who is the hyper independent woman who is fiercely strong, very armored. She's been hurt and she's protecting herself, but yet deep down underneath it, she really desires a man. But she's also built a life that doesn't welcome men as well, and a body that's holding a lot of armor. But on the flip side, I work with a lot of women who are just breaking free of a marriage and are either on the brink of divorce or finalizing a divorce. And it's almost like, fuck, what the hell have I been doing for so many years? And there's a self-betrayal and a self-abandonment that they're feeling, a grief of what they thought was going to be.
Yeah.
And the way I see it is either way, those women are in that prison, you know? The husband had the key and he was controlling the key of when she could come in, when she could come out. And equally, the single woman's like looking and wondering, but she's still got that armor because like, oh, who can I trust?
Right.
So I wonder, like, from your own personal experience, as you shared, you know, you were gonna get married, and that whole experience was definitely on the cards for you. What happened that made you finally pull the plug and be like, oh no, I
Yeah.
gotta walk away?
That's a story. So the minute that he got down on one knee and he said, "Will you marry me?" My voice, my mouth said yes, but internally I heard the loudest no. Like I heard no and I said yes. And like I said, the things that I was trying to ignore or sweep under the rug early on in the relationship all became amplified and 20 times louder once we were engaged. It's like the things that he was maybe not fully showing to me, but I was getting glimpses of, they were on full blast, full display. Kind of like, I've got you now, even though we're not officially married yet, but it's like, there's a ring on your finger. You're living in my house. I got you to quit your job. You're mine.
Wow.
So, yeah. There were a lot of really terrifying things of being kind of isolated and, yes, manipulated out of my job and all of these horrible things. And as if that wasn't enough, right? Like as if having me quit my job, all these other things that I won't go into like all the nitty-gritty details of, but there were plenty of things that I could have easily said, this engagement is off. I can't do this. Another thing that I teach the women in my space, I'm like, we don't have to wait until it's level 10 terrible to get out of there. In my case, I waited till it was level 10 terrible. I was hit by a big 2x4. I look at it as God, spirit, universe, whatever you want to say. I say God. God was like, this girl is not listening. I have sent her so many signs. I have given her so many outs, and she is still, again, clinging on for dear life. I'm going to hit her with something so hard she can't ignore it. And there was a huge rupture in our relationship. Basically, he was seeking extracurricular activities outside of our connection. And while he didn't actually go through with it and cheat on me, there was an attempt. And I said, that's it. That's it. I'm out. But why did I have to wait till it got to that, right? When there was all these other things leading up to it. So the answer that I have for that, I'll go ahead and answer my own why, is I didn't fully trust myself. I thought I was in all of this scarcity thinking, who am I going to find? And, I just turned 33 and oh my gosh, and I need to have kids. And what are people going to think? I've already sent out my save the dates. I've got my wedding dress. We've got the venue booked and all these bullshit excuses that nobody cares about. But I was in complete scarcity and fear, and I didn't trust myself. And in a lot of ways too, I had a lot of love for him. That's what's so hard about these kinds of relationships. They're not all bad. There's a lot of great moments in there. There's a lot of things that had us very deeply connected. So I remember working with my first coach ever. And I love therapists. I've worked with therapists throughout my life. I think they're amazing. And I tell everybody, it wasn't until I hired my first coach that my entire world changed, which led me to doing what I do now. And this coach said to me, He's like, with your engagement, with your marriage, it was like you got to just waltz into this perfectly set up scenario. Basically, you were trying to recreate your childhood. Your parents are still married, they're great. My childhood was not perfect by any stretch, but it was pretty great compared to a lot of what I hear. And my coach was like, you've been trying to recreate your childhood, and in that, you never have to grow up. You never have to go on your own like heroine's journey and discover
Wow.
who you are.
Oof.
That to this day, it still gives me chills. And he said,
Mhm.
and you leaving this man is like the little girl in you walking away from dad,
Wow.
which was why it was so painful. So, yeah, talk about a radical, transformative journey that relationship gave me. It was one
Yeah.
of the most painful and one of the most rewarding times of my entire life.
Yeah. And it's crazy to just see how that conditioning was still very much alive. Like, oh, will I meet him like someone else after this? What will I do after this? And it's all the little girl holding onto the imagination and what looked like safety to her. And I really love that you shared that bit of this was the most painful yet rewarding, because I say time and time again that everything and everyone is coming into our life to invite us into freedom of some sort. And I'm just wondering for you, if you could share, because I know so many women that are going to be listening to this are going to be possibly in the midst of, oh, should I leave or should I stay? Or maybe just leaving him and the future looks super blank and scary because we don't know. And as humans, we want to know, right?
Yes.
And I'm just wondering that piece of like rewarding and painful. Can you share a little bit more about what was underneath both of those?
Yeah, painful in that I thought I was walking away from like my one shot at true happiness, which was so laughable now. And I'm not laughing if you're in that phase right now at all, because girl, I get it. That's where I was. But hindsight's 2020. Looking back
Yeah.
now, I was just like, wow, if only future me could have gone to that version of myself and been like, it's gonna be okay. It's not even gonna be okay. It's gonna be better than you've ever imagined. I have experienced love in my life from men that could like bring me to tears on this podcast just talking about it. I thought that my relationship with my ex-fiance was like the greatest love of my life, the best sex, the best everything.
Yes.
It's laughable. I didn't even know what love was and what like amazing sex could really be until I got out of that and healed that part of me that was just so aching to be chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to really learn to really choose myself. I know we hear that all the time,
Yeah.
but I don't think women know how big of a deal that is. And choosing yourself doesn't mean putting armor around you and
Mm-hmm.
letting no one in. Like, it's okay. I've got me. I choose myself. No, no, no. Choosing yourself also looks like I desire the deepest love available from a man. That's what choosing
Yeah.
myself looks like. The most aligned, juiciest, loving partnership. That is me choosing myself, because that's a deep desire of my heart. And I believe fundamentally that the desires of our heart were placed there by the divine, by God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if that's a deep desire of your heart and you're sitting in a situation like, should I stay? Should I go? I don't think this is right for me, but I feel like I'm not going to meet anybody and the future looks so blank. I have no idea. If that is a deep desire on your heart, you get to trust every single day that that desire is going to be fulfilled because it was placed there for a reason. Do you remember? I love this analogy. It was an old Michael Jackson music video. I think it was Billie Jean. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
The
Do you remember?
wildest thing is I was actually listening to Michael Jackson right before this podcast. So
Love
of
it.
course,
Okay.
divine, divine, so
Love it.
divine.
I think it's Billie Jean. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But in the video, there's this row of tiles in front of him that he's dancing on, and when he steps on the tile, it lights up.
Yes.
All the tiles light up, but not until he takes a step. And that's something I play with life all the time. When we're in a relationship or when we're single and thinking about getting back out there and we're just like, oh my gosh, but where is my husband? Like, where are the 20 lit up steps that I need to take to meet him? Just please, like, how do I meet him? You just have to take one step. And your one step might be to leave the relationship that you're in right now. Your step might be to hire a coach. Your step might be to, try the dating apps, whatever it is. But the rest of the path will light up once you take that next aligned, committed step.
I literally just got full body chills hearing you share that, because I get it, when we're in the midst of it, taking that first step feels scary because it's like, oh, what if it doesn't work? Or, oh, what direction do I go in? We can get really tangled up in all of the noise. And I'm curious, what do you think is one of the biggest steps that a woman can actually take?
One of the biggest steps a woman can take is I don't think it's like one set thing. I think it's the step that your intuition is telling you that you've been trying to ignore. Whatever that voice has been shouting or even just subtly whispering, and you're like, this doesn't make sense though. But logically, it can't be this. No, that's too scary. That's too edgy, or again, it doesn't make sense. That's the step that you get to take that is going to light up the rest of the pathway. Yeah.
Beautiful. And you really can't get that wrong, right? There's no right or wrong. It's just really about feeling and diving into what it is that's really, really creating that aliveness in her. And sometimes women can be really scared of that feeling because it's going to mean actually trusting her own intuition versus looking for the answers or looking for what looks good on paper, or the right thing to do is, or what her parents want to do.
Yes.
And the noise from the external world can often cloud out what our sensory self is trying to say to us, or our higher self. And for you, what have been the most magical steps?
Quitting my job that I happened to really enjoy. It wasn't like I was in a horrible job. I loved my boss. I loved what I got to do, but my soul was calling me to something different, which was coaching full time. I left that relationship. I quit my job. I moved to another state. There was something in me saying, like, everything new love, new location, new vocation, new everything. And I just said yes and did a total trust fall into the universe. Now, I will say, I had a little safety net. I actually moved in with my parents because I didn't know where I wanted to live specifically in Colorado. Plus, I was terrified. I had never worked for myself. I was like, can I even afford rent? I'm working for myself. How am I going to do this? And it's hysterical because the minute I said yes to what I feel like God, Spirit, my soul was calling me towards, everything was provided for. I didn't even need to move in with my parents. I had more than enough abundance my way to live in the amazing, beautiful high-rise apartment that I have right now. So, yeah, I have this theory that when we finally do what life is asking us to do,
Yes.
it's almost like God is parting through the crowds and being like, thank you, finally, you're listening to what I've put on your heart since the day you were born. Just trust me, and I think God's voice is our intuition. That's kind of how I've always seen it. My intuition feels like God speaking to me. So just leaning into that and trusting that. Oh my gosh, my only disappointment is I wish I would have learned to trust myself sooner. I wonder what my life would look like. And I don't have a lot of regret in life. I just don't think that way or believe that way. But when I really sit with it, that's sort of the one thing that I come back to. I was like, God, I wonder what life would be like if I had trusted myself sooner, learned to trust myself sooner.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? And I can definitely relate because I moved to Lisbon within 6 months of visiting here, and I didn't know why. I was just in this tailspin of move, go. And it was haunting me. I couldn't not do it, and I didn't know why. I didn't even fully understand why here. What was it about being here that was forcing me almost? It felt like a force. And I love that we're in this point of the conversation, because some women might be like, what's this got to do with dating and
Yeah.
relationships? And it's
Everything.
fucking everything, because
Everything.
it's a woman being in ownership of her desires and what she wants. And there's a whole texture of women that are waiting and looking and seeking, and almost in this urgency type mechanism within them, and they're putting life off.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that I see in women today, is it kind of takes over them. It almost becomes all consuming and overwhelming, and it affects them in a lot of ways. Like, they don't want to go out, but then if they do go out, they're kind of like in the bars and they're wanting to be seen. And could you tell me a little bit more about what your experience of that is, either personally or with women that are in your work?
Yeah, like when they're sort of like living their life on pause, or always sort of like scanning the rooms trying to like find the man, essentially. Yeah. That that is the underlying belief in that is still, I'm waiting for my life to start for the man to show up. And I get it. I love things that are nuanced. Like, I love to swim in the things that are nuanced. I get it. If you're a woman and you're like, but I'm so ready to be a mom and I don't want to have kids by myself. I'm in that same boat. I could have kids on my own right now, but that's not what I choose. I choose to do that with a partner.
Yeah.
So I get that can be a deep desire of your heart, but the lie is that your life can't start before you become a mom. Your life can't start before you can become a wife. That's not true. So as uncomfortable as it is to actually seek out and discover internally, what do I want? Like, if the man is coming, because I believe that's, again, I call them capital T truths. Like, I cannot mess up what's meant for me. I also can't miss what's meant for me. And the desires of my heart were placed there by the divine. So I get to have that. That's done. Like, it's already taken care of. Great. What do I want in the meantime? What do I want to do? And it's such a confronting thought, because society has taught us over and over and over and over again, you become a wife and you have a baby and you get a house and you get a retirement plan and XYZ. And to kind of zoom out and look at that from the outside in and go, okay, well, that's not here yet. It's coming. It's not here yet. What do I choose? What do I choose now? And it's fascinating. I feel like we all want what we don't have yet. I know so many moms that are married to incredible men. Like, they have a beautiful life. Like, I'm not taking that away. I'm not saying they're miserable. They're not miserable, but they're all aching for spaciousness. They're all aching for freedom. They're all
Yes.
aching to just do whatever the hell they want to do, when they want to do, no kids tugging at them, no husband to ask permission of, like, and if you're single and you don't have kids, you have what they want. So
Yes.
why it's like you're living your life on pause for a woman's reality who wants your reality. Why not squeeze the juice out of the freedom you have right now in your life that you will never have again, especially if the desire of your heart is to have partnership or a family? Like, it's never going to be just you and you ever again. I had that just crazy aha moment. Even though I teach this stuff, I live and breathe this stuff. I had this moment in my apartment, like the other day, where I'm with my little dog who's getting a lot older, and I brought myself to tears just thinking, I know that I'm so close to being in a partnership, to having a baby. All of these things are so close, and I'm going to miss this. I am going to miss this precious apartment that I made so beautiful and so elegant and so me, with my little dog that has been with me through everything. This moment in time, like, I'm going to be looking back as a mother one day. I'm going to be looking back as a wife one day, like, God, I almost missed it. I almost missed how precious this time is because I've been so obsessed with the next thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I really feel that. And I get it as a firm mama as well.
yeah.
We have elders as well, elder babies. And, you know, what I think is really potent that you touched on, that I think so many women in relationship and single get to hear, is the piece of, oh, I want the single freedom.
Yes.
Or, oh my God, I want the intimacy and the connection in that relationship that that woman has with her
Yeah.
husband or her partner or whatever. And it's so fascinating that there's that almost polarity between the single women and the women who are married. And I think underneath it is what women are really craving is a relationship with themselves that
Yes.
is divine, you
100%.
know?
Yep.
And I'm wondering for you, because you've been through so many iterations within your own initiation, and I'm wondering for you with your own relationship with self, what's been the most beautiful and transformational piece for you?
For sure, learning to trust myself and trusting my intuition and moving from that space. That has been life changing for me. And I do want to make this distinction too. Trusting yourself and trusting your intuition doesn't mean you're a psychic. It doesn't mean what my intuition telling me is always necessarily right or that that's going to lead to the outcome that I desire. Like if my intuition is telling me to reach out to this woman to do a collaborative thing and she says no, uh-oh, my intuition was wrong. Uh-oh, I'm not psychic. No, 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 no. Trusting your intuition is just building that muscle to trust yourself, to
Yes.
say, like, what I feel matters, what I think matters. My opinions matter, my thoughts matter, my feelings matter, my intuition matters, and I feel good in letting that guide me. So that's been incredibly healing for me.
Yeah.
And this sounds like so silly what I'm about to say, but I will be thinking something or watching something on television, let's say, and then I'll just make a comment like out loud to myself as if there is, a man here to hear me or something. And I will just bust out laughing. Like I think I'm so funny. I would buy tickets to my own show. I love my own company, but
Yes.
it's not to the degree where, and so I'm just gonna be alone forever. Like I'm just good
Yes.
with that. No,
Isolate
no,
myself and not see
what?
anyone, no humans on the
No,
planet.
no. I look at it as like, oh my gosh, like I have learned to enjoy my presence so much. I can't wait for a man to get to be able to enjoy that presence too.
Ah,
And he's going to know exactly how to love me because I can teach him. Because I
oh,
actually know what that looks like for me now.
love. I just want to double tap as well on the trust piece and the intuition piece, because I think so many women get confused with what that is, because sometimes we could get an intuitive hit and it can be scary.
Yeah.
So how do you personally differentiate between, oh, this is divine guidance and following my yes, even if the result isn't how my personality wants it, but I'm going to follow it anyway, versus, oh, this is a past part of me that's keeping me small,
Yes.
or my fear brain or my ego. How do you differentiate between the two?
For one, for me, and I think this is pretty common across the board. I'm curious how it shows up for you, but for me, intuition always comes first, fear comes right after. Like I get the hit, and then ego, personality, fear, doubt, worry is like, oh, but that can be right. That can be wrong. When I get an intuitive nudge or an intuitive hit, it's so clear. To
Mm-hmm.
me, fear isn't as clear. It's and
Mm,
it and fear can come in first for something. Like if I have fear
yeah.
about something, I'll just feel fear. But
Yeah.
intuition and fear, even though they can be closely linked, intuition always comes first.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I know, like, this is actually something that's nudging me. And it's
Yeah.
okay that protective, safety, attached part of myself comes in and wants to diminish what I felt or make it wrong or say I can't do that. But if intuition comes first, I know, like, oh, as scary as that might be, that's the indicator to lean in.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. For me personally, I tend to, if I have a feeling about something and I can't shake it,
Yeah.
that for me is intuition. It's a continuous
Yeah.
nudge, 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 nudge
Yeah.
to the point where, like I said with Lisbon, it's like I can't shake it. I have to do it. It's almost like a force within me. And yeah, I don't tend to really buy into fear that much. I've definitely just got to let's fuck around, find out. I can't get it wrong.
Yeah.
It's going to lead me to somewhere else if this isn't it. And I tend to find that works really well for me as well in dating. I just don't think about it too much. And since I've been in the space of dating in Lisbon, I tend to find that every single time the person that I date, the next guy is always a more aligned
Yes.
iteration of the previous one as well. So
Yes.
I'm like, I absolutely can't get it wrong, because if this guy was cool
Right.
and this guy's even cooler, not that this guy was anything wrong with him, but just not for me, and then this guy is even cooler than that guy,
Yes.
then if I'm a few guys later, then bam, it's
Right.
my person.
100%. I do believe that. It's like this weird code that we crack, or something that gets unlocked when you do this healing work, I believe. It's
Yes.
like the men get better and better and better and more aligned and more aligned and more aligned. And it gives your nervous system that reassurance. It's like,
Yes.
oh, what if I don't find anyone better? It's like,
Yes.
but they keep getting better. They are better. Every time they get better. And I think that has to do with us too. It's like
Sure.
we're getting clearer about what works for us and what doesn't work for us. And I also believe this, and this is really hard for women to do. It's really hard for me to do sometimes too. It has been. When you know that someone isn't a fit for you, my invitation to myself and to anyone listening and to all my clients is get them out of the way as fast as possible. There is something I believe emotionally and energetically. It's like we send this signal out to the universe that says, I'm done messing around. You see how serious I am, God? Watch me. Watch me move through these people when I know it's a no, when I know it's not aligned for me. And, that's something very near and dear to my heart, because my biggest, what do they call it? Your toxic trait. My toxic trait was I would hold on to relationships well past the expiration date. I knew. I would know on date one, I'm not going to marry this guy. And I'd get into a 3-year relationship with him. What am I doing? Wasting so much time. So now, as soon as something feels like this isn't quite it, damn it. And it's so hard when it's so close and the person hasn't done anything wrong. There's no massive betrayal. There's none of those toxic tendencies. Like, it's a healthy, loving, beautiful man. But you just know your intuition is like, this isn't it.
Yeah.
To have to listen to that. But again, when you learn how to trust yourself, it becomes easier and easier to do that. Yeah. And better men come in for you more quickly because you're not tied up with something that you know isn't actually right for you.
Oh, that is gold. Such jackpot. And the funny thing is my toxic trait was the complete opposite. It was get
be
rid of
out of
them
there
as
so
fast as
fast.
possible
Yeah.
because I ain't got time to waste.
Yes.
Which also, everything's beautiful and perfect in the way in which we experience it, because if we look at the lessons and the learnings, we get to see the beautiful insight. But for me, it wasn't letting anyone in.
Yeah.
So then the co-regulation wasn't there, or the connection wasn't there, or the intimacy, or even the ability to assess and look at what do I want and what don't I want about this guy, because he was gone before I could even really give him a full audit, So
Yes.
I just love the different journeys that women can take, especially when, and I think what this piece is really highlighting is when you are doing your own inner work, when you are in a relationship with yourself, whether you are pushing guys away or holding onto them for longer than is necessary, as long as you're in the work, you can really be with yourself and be able to prevent those patterns from playing out in life. And ultimately doing the thing that no one woman wants to do is like waste our time with low effort or someone that just isn't,
Totally.
aligned with our values. So
Yeah, totally.
I have absolutely adored this conversation. I'd love to just ask one last question before we close out. And that is, what one piece of advice would you give to a woman that's maybe stuck or lost or a little frustrated by her journey with men and relationships and dating? What would be the one piece of advice that you'd give her in the current mud that maybe she's
Yes.
sitting in?
I love this question, and I have a very easy answer. And I don't know why I'm getting like chills even thinking about it, because it just feels so true. And it's so, it is a transformation unlike anything I've ever quite experienced, and something you can do right now completely on your own. Start living your life as if your man was already here. Start taking the trips, start going to the movies, to the restaurants you want to try, taking the adventures, going to events. Start living as if your partner's here. The things that you want, like, I'll do that when a partner gets here. Do them now. I'm about to go on a month solo trip to Europe, Paris, Italy, London, Greece. I was going to go to Greece on my honeymoon. I've never wanted to travel to Europe without my fiance. I've always wanted to do that, like with a man. And I said, no, I'm doing this on my own. I plan to take, what are the gondola rides in Venice? Oh, I'm totally doing that. I am doing that because that's what I'm going to do with my husband when I bring him back there with me. But I'm doing it now. So and you can do that in the smallest ways. I didn't have plans this weekend. I took myself to a movie I wanted to see. My ex-partner and I would always go to the movies on the weekends. I'm like, okay, well, I'll take myself. And some people might be listening to that and be like, oh my gosh, but isn't that sad or isn't that embarrassing? No, it's what you want to be doing. And life is happening now. So you may as well live it now. We're not even guaranteed tomorrow.
Nope.
So that's what I would say. Start
Oh,
doing the things that you want to do with a partner. And maybe that doesn't mean you're going to adopt a baby or buy the, whatever house, but those are, you can do things now that you wouldn't normally do. And for me, the big stretch of like going to Europe for an entire month by myself is a stretch. Start doing the small things and the stretchy things.
yes.
You can do it now.
Oh, I love this. Life is not a dress rehearsal.
No, it's now, baby.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And my love, if any of the women that are listening to this would love to hear more from you, know more about you, what the work you do is in this world, then where can they find you?
Instagram is easy. It's at Megan_Thoma, Thoma. And then I have a private podcast. It's free, but it's called The Dating Confidential, but it's private. So you can sign up to listen to what I have to say on there as well.
We'll put all those details in the show notes as well for you. Thank you so much, my love. This has been just really beautiful, and it's also been awesome for me as well. There's so much richness in these conversations with other women, especially when you're on the same page. When women are on the same page, there's an energy that is just truly, truly inspiring and really, really deeply invigorating inside as well. So thank you so much.
So true. Thank you for having me. Loved it.